Fly fishing from a pontoon boat for trout in lakes. Lesson number 3, aquatic food for fall. Now we're in fall, which is we will consider to be September, October, and November. This is considered the last fly fishing month of the year. Hatches will come to a close and trout will eat a lot during this time to bulk up for winter. Hatches begin to slow down for the year and they're usually smaller in size. As the lake reaches 34.2 degrees, turnover will take place in 24 hours. This occurs on lakes that have no running water source. Trout have total access to all water levels and food when this occurs, and they spread out throughout the entire lake to feed. Trout can now move freely about the lake and eat as much as they can before the cold weather sets in. Once ice forms, winter has set in, and feeding will slow down or stop. Trout stay where the water temperature is more comfortable, usually close to the bottom where it is warmer. Trout activity slows down as the temperature gets colder. Before the temperature of the lake becomes too cold to fish, trout will still feed on zooplankton, caddisflies, damselflies, mayflies, dragonflies, leeches, and scuds. The trout's metabolism starts to slow down now, and they still will try to eat all they can before the cold weather sets in. Insect activity continues, and the trout will continue to feed as long as the insects are present. As the temperature dips to about 47 degrees, then the insect activity will begin to slow down or even stop. Well, it's time to go home and tie flies for the next year. When you consider information on the internet to determine which insects are available in the fall by the order they're eaten by trout, this is what the chart would look like. But based on the lakes that I fish in Oregon, the activity of the food in it, I would place this in a different order. This chart is what I would consider to be the average for trout feeding in the fall. I would rank zooplankton as number 1. Trout can rely on this staple until the temperature of the lake reaches below 40 degrees. As they search out insect activity, they will rely on this staple to keep them going. Finding zooplankton in the stomach of a trout tells you that they have not found insect sources yet, but are cruising to find food. This also means that they are feeding opportunistically. I would consider leeches number 2, and they're found moving close to the bottom to find food. Although the number of hatches have diminished, there can still be active insect activity in the lake. Leeches key into the insect location when they're about 1 to 2 feet above the bottom in the hatching position. I would rank caddis number 3 because of the size of the insects available in the fall. You see on this chart that there are 18 varieties that are available, and since insects are usually smaller in the fall, I would recommend hook sizes of either 12 or 14. Caddis flies are available as larvae, pupa, emergers, or adults and live in water that's about 20 feet deep, but they really prefer water that's either 10 feet deep or less. They prefer to live and feed around rocks, weed beds, and leaf debris. As you can see by the chart, 2 types of larvae live and move in cases marked larva C on the chart. 8 are available as pupa in September, and 12 are available as emergers or adults. Caddis will eat either insects or leaves or algae, and some will eat all 3. The chart shows these food preferences and the stage of their development. So depending on the type, they can be found close to weed beds or in bottom debris. Only 9 types of caddisflies are available in October, only as emergers or adults. Damselflies are ranked number 4 in the fall. The 24-month variety is close to the adult stage at this time. Use a fly that is either brown or green in color, size 10 or 12. At 40 degrees, they will go dormant until spring. The 12-month variety of damselflies is just finishing its hatches too, and will be in the adult stage as well. They will be brown in color and are usually a size 10 hook. When damsels swim, they prefer to swim about 2 to 3 feet below the surface, usually in a straight line, and they prefer to swim when the days are bright. Mayflies are ranked number 5 because their hatches are winding down and there's fewer of them. The most common is the Calabatus nymph, which is tan or gray in color and mostly available when they move. They range in hook sizes from 12 to 14 because they're smaller this time of the year. Just before they hatch, their wing case turns black, and the middle tail will actually turn clear. Dragonflies have a 4-year life cycle. They would be ranked number 6. Nymphs can be found along the shoreline in deep water in late fall. Their underwater activities make them difficult to imitate, but most people catch them on woolly buggers close to the bottom. Scuds are listed as number 7 because other insects may have many more hatches before the end of the year. Insects are active until the temperature of the lake reaches about 40 degrees, but scuds are active all through the winter. Scuds can live in water up to 25 feet deep, but they prefer water that's shallower. They feed around weed beds. Some will move to shore to hide under rocks, and they will make this trip several times during the day if it's a bright day. Trout will look for them to be on the move. Scuds prefer low light and will stay out of the sun, preferring shadows and deep water.